There are thousands of n8n templates out there, but nobody tells you which one can actually work together or how to merge them together without breaking anything. So I built Claude Code skill that finds the most popular templates and automatically stitches them into one or multiple workflows. Let me show you how, starting with the manual way. So here's what most people would do. You'd go to the n8n website and find the templates. But wait, where's the filter for the most popular ones? There isn't actually one. You can't sort by usage. You're just scrolling. You have no idea which templates people actually use, and even if you do pick one, how do you know which ones would actually work together? You'd have to open each one of them, check out the nodes, check out the connections, what external data sources they're using, and actually see if they could work together, all manually. Then you need to copy each one of them over manually. And when you try to merge them together, chances are you're gonna run into a few disconnected nodes. And that's why I automated it. Before you start, you will need a code editor. In my case, I'm using VS Code, but you can use whatever you prefer. You'd also need a Claude subscription or an API key. That's it. Let me show you how to connect your Claude Code to your n8n instance. There's an open source MCP called the n8n MCP, which connects your Claude Code directly to your n8n's API. You can actually host it on your machine, or if you want to do the easier way, in CloudStation, you can one-click deploy the MCP. There's a 7-day free trial, so you can test it. Deploy to one of your projects or create a new one. Once you do, I'm gonna go to my n8n instance. I'm gonna go to the setting and then to the n8n API, create a new API key. I'm gonna name it something. Let's go for YouTube. Okay, then I'm gonna copy it and then go to my n8n, my CloudStation instance, and redeploy using the new variables. So I'm gonna create a new variable called n8n API URL, and then I'm gonna put my n8n URL in it, and then another one called n8n API key, and then put the n8n API key that I just created, and hit redeploy or deploy changes, so that my n8n MCP has access now to my n8n instance. So next, go to your Visual Studio Code or whatever editor, create a new file, and then save it into a folder, and we're gonna be working on that folder from now on. I'm gonna leave my exact .mcp.json in the description. I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna update the URL with the n8n MCP URL, and then the token is the generated token that's in your variable sections in CloudStation. Go to your CloudStation and copy the auth token that's in there for the bearer token. So the auth token is the bearer token. I'm gonna copy it from here, and then I'm gonna go back to the VS Code instance and update that, and do the same for the URL, and that's it. We're good to go. You can now test it with Claude Code. So to run Claude Code, you need to install it. It's easy. Just follow the instructions in Claude.io. So now that's done. If you have VS Code, you can use it from the extension that's here, or I prefer the terminal, so I'm going to be using the terminal from now on. And then you can either just hit type Claude to open Claude normally, or run it in dangerous mode, so that you don't have to keep accepting stuff, but you need to be careful. This is my workstation, so I'm not very worried. It's my sandbox, so I'm gonna run it in dangerous mode. And that's the way you do that, is either you run Claude --dangerous, dangerously skip permissions. In my case, I have a shortcut for that, so if I run ccd, it's gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna do that. Just from now on, you know that ccd is Claude --dangerous skip permission. Now that we have launched Claude, all you need to do to make sure that the MCP is loaded is type /mcp, and you'll be able to see that the MCP is installed or not. And you can see now that we have the MCP installed, it is connected, and we can see the tools, everything else is in there. And that's it. Now our Claude Code has access to our n8n instance, and we can now start working with it. Now that our MCP is ready, I'm gonna fire up Claude Code again. So in my case, ccd launches Claude in dangerously skip permission mode. And then the first thing I'm gonna do is just /context, which is going to allow me to see how much of my context window is left just after using this MCP. And yes, just having the MCP sitting there, just sitting without even actually using it, 8.8% of my context window is completely eaten up. And that is not a big deal if you thought that that's it. But the way these agents work is whenever I ask Claude a question, it's gonna drag up all the history every time into the context window. So every new conversation means more than 8.8% of my context window completely wiped out. And I'm using Opus and it's pretty expensive. So I'm gonna show you how. I'm gonna use this MCP to grab me the most popular templates so we can create a SaaS with them with this way. And then I'm gonna show you later how to do it in a much practical way using just the skill that I've built. I'm just gonna hit clear. I'm gonna grab the skill that I created, which is gonna be in the description below for everyone to use this MCP server. So I'm just gonna go to my other project. I'm gonna copy my whole .Claude folder where I have the prompts, the skills and everything else. Okay, so now in the .Claude folder, I have, as you can see here, the n8n MCP skill, which basically has some cookbooks on how to use the skills, some examples and some prompts. And here's the skill as well. So it's a complete n8n workflow automation expert using MCP tools, used when building n8n workflows, etc., etc. The way Claude skills work is that Claude would automatically invoke them when they need it. The problem is sometimes it just doesn't. So I've created some prompts to help Claude guide itself to use the skills when needed. In this case, I'm just gonna start asking the questions and seeing if I can get the templates that I need to build the SaaS without doing anything manually. Use the n8n MCP skill to use the n8n MCP server and get me the most popular templates and also check which templates could work together. So this is gonna be my first prompt, and after each prompt I'm gonna check on the context window to see exactly how much I have left. Claude Code does allow you to compact the conversation and then continue, but if you do that, you'll notice that you're starting to have a lot of hallucinations, and that comes basically because of the context window being too big. And just by using the MCP tool, you can see here that Claude does say that the MCP is giving a large response, so more than 15K tokens. It says that it can fill up the context quickly. We have the response from Claude. So we have the views, the category, and basically it gave us the 15 most popular templates. So I'm just gonna check on my context window again to see if I can continue with this conversation. And you can see here, after one simple question, I have 35% of my context window left. So I'm gonna ask it a new question now to see which templates could work together. Okay, I'm trying to build a SaaS using already successful templates so that have market validation. So I need you to get the most popular templates, see the ones that could work together, and help me figure out which ones would make a good SaaS. I can use also my n8n instance to check if I already have some templates that would match with those. And we'll see if I can continue. Alright, so it's found 100 plus workflows on my n8n workflow, which is my n8n instance, which is true. And I have a lot of workflows on lead gen, etc. So it did find those. It did find the top SaaS opportunities, which are mostly about lead gen for myself because my n8n instance is filled with those. So we have either a LinkedIn automation SaaS, an AI video factory SaaS, WhatsApp business chatbot SaaS, and AI personal assistants and lead generation. I'm gonna check on my context window again and see if I actually can continue with this and build the workflow. So always /context. And we have 25% left. We can continue going on. So I'm gonna tell it that I chose the lead generation stuff. I'm gonna ask it to create for me a plan to do so. So right now I'm not using anything, no slash commands, no nothing. I'm just doing it raw and we'll see how we can actually do it better. Okay, I want to go with the lead generation workflows. So find the ones that could work together from the template store and then find which of my workflows can actually work with those so we can copy them and create a SaaS out of all of them. You can see here that it could not continue. I already ran a context window. I need to compact and continue. And I know for a fact that if I do that, it's not gonna do a very great job. And just so you know, so in Claude, you can actually choose if you wanna auto compact or not. And when you do, you lose another 20% of your context window. I already have that disabled, and that's how I was able to do 3 questions. If I did not have that, it would have compacted a while ago. So you can turn that on or off. I want to choose when I want to compact, so that's why I actually have it turned off. So this is why I stopped using this MCP, because basically after a couple of questions, you cannot actually build something out of it. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna give it a chance, and we're gonna run the compact and see if we can actually do something. Basically, it's gonna create a summary of just what just happened. And it actually cannot even compact. Conversation is too long, so we need to go up and delete a few messages. It's not actually worth it for me. I know it doesn't work very well. I've tried it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the actual way that I've built and that I am actually able to not only get the templates, but actually copy them into my n8n instance and have them actually work, which is the whole point of this thing. I'm gonna delete all of this. So I'm just gonna hit /clear, which is gonna delete all of that. And next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to disable the MCP, and the way to do that is just rename it something else, and then Claude Code is not gonna be able to pick it up. So just that MCP.json, that's disabled. And now if I hit exit to get out of Claude, if I try again, and now if I do /MCP, you will see here that I don't have any MCPs activated. And if I do context, to see how much context window I have, you can see here that I have 89.4% of my context window that I'm able to use, knowing that I have disabled compacting. So now let's try with my n8n skill. I actually have created some prompts to help use this n8n skill in a more effective way. And if you want to have access to this skill and you want to have access to my tool, you're going to find them in the description below. It's in my school community if you want them. First things first, I'm going to show you just what this skill looks like. So in the same folder, so I have the n8n MCP skill, but I also have the n8n CLI tools. So same formats, I've just used the formats that Anthropic do as well. So there's a cookbook, how to manage the skill, how to use the tools for the skill. There's the .env here. This skill to be completely used with its fullest capabilities, you're gonna need to have access to your n8n database, because not only I am getting all the stuff from the MCP server, but I'm also getting some stuff that are only available inside of the database that are not exposed through an API. And I'm only reading them, so that's not too dangerous. Basically what I'm getting is the community nodes that I have installed. So for example, in my use case, I like to use WhatsApp for a lot of my automations and AI agents, and I like to use it through the Evolution API. So whenever I create a new workflow, I need it to use the Evolution API. And also it has access to my credentials, so when it actually creates the workflows, it does create them with the credentials. So we have the expressions, some of the gotchas from n8n, etc. And then we have some examples, and then we have the templates. So I created a tool that downloads a cache of the templates, and whenever it needs a new template, it will get it. So it's not overloading the context window. Yeah, so here we have the CLI tools that I created using Claude Code. By the way, if you want to know how I built those, don't hesitate to comment below that you want to see how I actually built the tool and how I use Claude Code to help me automate this whole thing. So to make sure that Claude always invokes the skill, not just when it wants to, I created as well some commands and some agents. So these are my commands that are going to be available for the school community to use. I have the n8n prime, basically it uses the skill. I always have it invoke the skill, it knows where it is, it knows how to use it. I have the n8n plan and the n8n template question. So I'm going to be using this first command to ask Claude the same question I asked earlier using the n8n MCP to find out which are the best templates that can work together, and if I have in my n8n instance some templates that could also work together with those to create a monstrous workflow. CCD, and now to use the slash commands, all you need to do is slash, and then all the commands will show up. n8n templates question, and then I'm gonna paste the same question that I asked earlier, the MCP server, and it's gonna run. So as you can see here, the CLI tools skills is invoked at first because in the prompt, I specifically said that it needs to use the CLI skill at first. It analyzed the top 50 most viewed templates on n8n, combined 4.5 million views, and identified 5 high potential SaaS bundles based on market validations. So we have AI agent chats, WhatsApp chatbots, AI viral videos, multi-platform social media, AI generation, Google Maps email scraper, personal AI assistant, AI data analyst, AI social media, generation lead with Google Maps. And then we have now the total workflows, blah, blah, blah. And it says that I already have the foundation for 3 of the 5 recommended bundles. So we have AI Content Factory, AI Lead Machine, and a WhatsApp Business AI Video Generator, and SEO Content Engine. So as you can see here, we have some of the same recommendation as the first MCP server, mainly content generation and lead generation. And here we have as well a synergy matrix, so template that works together. We have the AI Content Factory plus SEO Content Engine, repurposed content feeds, blog posts, lead machine, WhatsApp Business, blah, blah, blah. And strongest combo, lead machine plus WhatsApp AI, capture lead, then nurture. So the quick wins is AI lead machine, because I already have an email finder DIY template that I've done. This template has 150k views and the workflow is relatively simple, create-based. I'm gonna go with the lead generation machine. I don't use Google to scrape leads, which this one seems to have. Maybe we can merge finding leads from Google, then scraping Google Maps for leads, and then nurturing those leads from LinkedIn scraping, which I have a template for. But I'm not going to make it easier for Claude Code, because in my previous tutorial and the template that I have, I'm using NoCodeDB. And in this case, I want to use just Postgres, because I do have a boilerplate template for the front end that uses Postgres for authentication. I'm going to be moving everything to Postgres. Next thing I'm going to do right now is check on my context window and if I'm going to be able to finish asking questions or not. And if you noticed, with this one question, I actually have the answer from both questions from earlier using the same first question. All right, and I have 77.7% of the context window still free. So I'm just gonna ask it to plan out the SaaS product it's gonna be using some of the templates from lead generation. So I'm gonna ask it to find some other templates from lead generation so that we can bundle them together after exchanging whatever source of leads or destination to a PostgreSDB. So same way, I'm just gonna do the n8n template question, and I'm gonna do a follow-up question. So, okay, I like the lead generation angle. I want you to go and look for more templates that we can use to bundle up together, templates that could work together, and create a SaaS for lead generation, nurturing, etc. Everything lead related. And again, you can see it's using the skill to use the tools to actually look for whatever we want. So we can see here that it's searching for templates that scrape leads, email finders, LinkedIn, and it's gonna add them to the templates in my repo here. So it found 50 templates across the full lead generation lifecycle, and here's the map of them. So we have the template ID, so we can look through them. We have the views, which is gonna show us if the templates are used by actual users. And we have the best combos. So yeah, we have stage 1, lead discovery and scraping. Then LinkedIn intelligence, search LinkedIn companies, AI scoring, etc., which is good. And then we have lead enrichment and verification. Then stage 4, AI lead scoring and qualification. Then personalized outreach, and then multi-channel nurturing, CRM pipeline management, and here's our recommended SaaS bundle architecture. So we discover through Google Maps, LinkedIn profiles, Yelp, Trustpilot. Then we go to enrichment, either using Apollo plus Hunter or something else. But we're gonna try and use these templates as much as possible. Then we have the AI scoring, personalizations, outreach, and then CRM. I'm gonna not use a CRM for this. I'm just gonna use Postgres to keep it simple. And then the top 3 bundles that we can use. So local business lead machine, LinkedIn sales intelligence, and a full stack lead gen platform, the most complete. I'm not gonna try and build all of this in one sitting. So maybe I'm gonna take it into multiple videos. So we have a synergy map, which templates work together. Then, so we have the template ID 2567 with this one and this one. And we have also the answer from my instance alignment. So I already have an email finder DIY, which aligns with bundle A, and a WhatsApp audio AI booking agent that can be added to nurturing stages. So what I can do now is actually exactly what it says, which is n8n plan local business lead generation SaaS with Google Maps scraping, AI enrichment, and call email outreach. And before I do that, I'm gonna check on the context. And I'm still, after all of this, at 61.9% of the context window. So I'm good to go. I can actually run this next prompt, show the n8n plan command, which again is a command that I created to work with the skill. So create an n8n workflow implementation plan using the CLI tools with the community node as a priority. So whatever tools I prefer first, so Evolution API. So I'm just gonna follow what Claude says to do and just type /n8n and then n8n plan. It's going to use the n8n CLI tools skill to first gather the information from n8n, the nodes, the versions, etc., so that it can create the templates in my n8n instance correctly. And then it's gonna list my community nodes that are installed. So you can see here, it listed my community nodes. I have some installed here. And it will list all the nodes that are in my n8n instance, so it has the right versions to use. So when they are built, it's actually connected. So it's gonna take a few minutes to create a spec file, which has the full implementation logic and also which nodes it's gonna be using when it's gonna be built. So as well, it's also gonna check for my credentials. So for example, I use Azure OpenAI for most of my workflows. So instead of using OpenAI directly or whatever, it's gonna check what I actually prefer to use in my workflows, and it's gonna use that all the time, which is pretty useful. So you can see here, it did create the spec folder, and now it's gonna start creating the spec. So we're gonna read through the spec, see if it's good or not. If it's good, then we can actually start building the workflow. All right, so we can see here that the spec is fully created, and we have a report. So we need that it use the skill, the location of the file, the workflow business, so local business lead generation SaaS, complexity, it will have 6 interconnected workflows. The community nodes that are going to be used are Ficrol and Tably. So it did find that I do prefer that over HTTP for scraping, and yeah, that I already have the credentials for them. And then standard nodes, and then the template referenced. So we have 3 templates that we're gonna be using from the template store. And the architecture summary, so we're gonna have a webhook trigger to workflow 2, which maps the scraper to workflow 3, which is the AI enricher, and then the other one. And we have the next steps. We need to review the plan, and then once the plan is reviewed and accepted, then I can go ahead and implement it. Before I do that, I'm gonna check for the context. I still have 45% of my context window completely free to use. Okay, so I'm gonna read through the plan, and if I see that it's gonna use something like a Google Sheets or something, I'm gonna ask it to use Postgres instead. So we have here the architecture. So workflow 1 is a webhook form, then to Google Maps, AI plus Ficrol. Storage is doing Google Sheets, email campaigns, and then updates. Okay, so I'm gonna just invoke the same prompt again and ask it to change the sheets to Postgres instead. Okay, so we have the input schema as well, which type of query we could do, so restaurant Paris, etc. And then we have the workflow 2, which is going to be a sub-workflow, so scrapes business URLs from Google Maps and extracts contact info from pages, and We have here all the nodes that are going to be used. And then we have some code nodes as well. So then workflow 3 AI enrichment, which is also going to be a sub workflow. Okay. Then we have the storage. Cold storage is going to use workflow 4. So only one workflow is going to be actually used in storage. All right. Okay. So I don't even read through the whole thing. I was just looking for storage. So I'm gonna ask the same n8n plan. Okay, so I do like the plan. Let's just exchange Google Sheets or any other storage to using Postgres. I will create a Postgres DB and I will add the credentials for it so that it could be used throughout the workflow. So you can see here, again, it's using the skill to find some examples with Postgres to understand how Postgres works in n8n, and it's gonna reread the spec and then update it accordingly. So if I have the implementation order, so it's gonna do the lead storage at first with creating a Google Sheets and storage workflow first. Then it's gonna do the core scraping logic, AI enrichment, and then the entry point, webhooks, campaign, automations, and tracking and notification. So 6 workflows in total. We'll see how it works. And you can see here that it did grab my credentials ID from here, so it knows that I'm using Azure OpenAI. And then actually seems to have a sheet node as well. That's why it did propose to use Google Sheets. But since I'm going for a full SaaS, I prefer to just use Postgres. So even though we are using the templates from the template store, which I can actually do, I did that before, and it's perfectly uploaded the workflows into my n8n instance, but I prefer to use them the way I want to use them and not having to fix stuff or add new credentials for stuff that I don't actually use in this case. If I were to go with Google Sheets, then I would have to create the Google Sheets myself, which I don't want to do. Instead, if I'm using Postgres, I can just deploy Postgres through CloudStation, give Claude the credentials, which I can later either change or I can just make the Postgres private, and that way it's secure. So even though I gave the credentials, which we shouldn't be doing in production, I always have a way to change them. Or I could even use Postgres MCP to access the Postgres, but having Claude do the work for me instead of me doing everything. Okay, so it did actually find that I have a Postgres DB, which I do have, but I'm gonna use a new one for this. And it's updated our workflow to now use Postgres. So now the workflow 4 storage is gonna be using PostgreSQL, and we have the whole SQL stuff here as well. So it's gonna create the schema for me once we need to. Okay, so I don't need to read anymore. I'm just gonna check on the context window one more time before we clear it so we can move on. So after coming up with the plan, I still have 29% of my context window free to use if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna clear my context. I'm gonna start a new session with the building stage. So for building, I do have, like I said, the command for it, which is here as well. So n8n build. And yeah, I'm just gonna remove the model here so that it uses Opus instead of Sonnet. But basically the build command takes up the spec path as an input, and it has some other static arguments as well. So the workflow folders and the tool path, the skill name, and the build agent. So it's gonna be using an agent to do the build, which is this one. So we have a build agent here, which is using Opus as a model, and it has the full workflow as well, like the other command. So now all I need to do is run /n8n build, and then I need to pass it the path to the plan. So all I need to do is go here, and then you can copy the path and let it run. So it's gonna take some time to implement the full plan, the full plan, because it is a big plan. So I'm gonna leave it run and I'm gonna come back to see what it actually did. So it took about 7 minutes for it to finish the 6 workflows. They're not deployed yet. It seems that all the workflows have been validated, but we need them to be uploaded into the workflows. We have also a deployment report with everything that needs to be done. So we needed to actually, so I need to go deploy the Postgres database I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to add its credentials to my n8n instance so that it uses it by default. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to deploy it in this same project from earlier. I'm just going to delete some of those. All right, and now I'm gonna deploy a PostgreSDB to use right here. Okay, so it's just a one-click deploy setup. If you're following along, you can go to Cloud Station and deploy the PostgreSDB like I just did. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes for the PostgreSDB to deploy. Okay, all right, so now our PostgreSDB is deployed. I'm gonna go and get the connection string from here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to here in the root. I'm gonna create a new .env file, and let's call it data URL, and I'm gonna put here the full connection string. And now I can tell Claude to use it to create all the tables that I need. Oh, wait. Before I do that, I need to add this connection string to my n8n instance. I need to go to credentials, and in create credentials, I'm gonna add a Postgres. All right. And I'm gonna call it leadgen, leadgen SaaS. And here, so for the local host, so I'm gonna copy everything here now. And so the database name is Cloud Station. The user is this one, it's Cloud Station. Up, and then the password is right here. And then the host is actually this. So tcp.cloudstation, blah, blah, blah. And then the port is this, and you can test. So I'm gonna first give it which credentials to use. So it's the leadgen SaaS. So the credentials are for the database are in the n8n instance and you can also access the DB to create all the necessary tables from the .env file. All right, and we'll let it cook for a little bit. All right, we can see here that it's created the tables for leads, and then it's creating the index. So I know that it shouldn't be using actually the names for the credentials, but the IDs, but I'm just gonna let it do what it has to do, and we'll see. I'm not gonna interrupt it. So it found some of my credentials. Okay, so you should see now the first workflow deployed. So let's. All right, so we have workflow 4, which is the lead storage, which was just added right now. And you can see here, there are no issues in the workflow whatsoever. This is a simple one, but we have the workflow 3, which is the enrichment. And you can see here, again, clean workflow, it's using my credentials by default. I didn't have to do anything. And we have the workflow 5, email campaign. Let's see. Okay, and workflow 6, status updates. Okay, choosing Slack to notify. And workflow 1, API trigger. Okay, it's a webhook, create job record, etc. And I'm gonna go back to Claude to see what happened. All right, so it says that it did add all the workflows and give me the link for them. And it gave me as well the next steps. So we need to activate the workflows, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna check on the context first. So we still have 44% of our contexts available to use. Okay, now let me be real with you. This is a powerful tool, but it's not magic. I've got a solid starting point. I have 6 workflows built that are connected. There is no tool that is not connected there. There is no node that is out of place, which is a great start, but I still need to test it. I need to tweak it. On top of the 2 commands that I showed you in this video, I also have the n8n test command and then the n8n validates command. One of them will test the real workflow at runtime to see if it actually does work, and then the second one validates if the workflows are actually in line with the spec. After that, here's where this is going. I've already built some version of this exact same thing that you've just seen right here. As you know, AI is non-deterministic, so each time I built it, I have a completely different outcome. I will show you a sneak peek of what one of the outcomes look like. And this is what the second video of this is gonna be about. So we're gonna be testing the workflows, and then we're gonna be creating a front end to showcase our workflows and our SaaS. If you wanna learn more about Claude Code and how to use it with n8n or just Claude Code, follow along this journey, comment down below, subscribe. And if you want the skill, the prompts, and to learn more about Claude Code, join my skill community. I'll be giving out full tutorials on how to use all of this more in details. I'll see you in the next one.